The founder of a Maori and Pacific-led professional rugby club says they have the finances, plan and people to keep the Moana Pasifika franchise afloat despite being rejected in their attempts to buy the license last year. Tracy Ataiga is the CEO of Kanaloa Rugby, a consortium made up of former professional rugby players and administrators of Pacific heritage. Ataiga told Pacific Waves she was devastated when she learned that Moana Pasifika will be disbanded at the end of the Super Rugby Pacific 2026 season, despite telling Pacific Waves in February that Moana Pasifika was here to stay. The franchise's CEO Debbie Sorensen confirmed last week that they made the difficult decision to disband due to financial pressures and structural challenges. In an interview with RNZ's Morning Report, Sorensen said they are hopeful someone could step in and save the club, explaining that they had gone out to market for investors that didn't bear any fruit. However, Ataiga said Kanaloa Rugby had put forward their proposal to buy Moana Pasifika last year in October, but received a response from Deloitte in December informing them that Moana's owners, the Pasifika Medical Association, PMA, would not proceed with Kanaloa's bid, pointing to Sorensen's media interviews. Ataiga said she does not appreciate the narrative of the poor cousin talk. It's been many years, actually 30 years, basically the history of Super Rugby, where our leaders keep saying stuff like, we just don't have the money and we need more money. We don't really agree with that narrative and I think it needs to change for Pasifika people, so that we know we don't have to be that way. We don't have to have our hand out all the time. We can do this ourselves. Ataiga said Deloitte's outcome was delivered as a phone call, letting them know they couldn't move on from past events, but when Ataiga queried what those events were, there was no response. Kanaloa Rugby previously proposed to establish a Pacific team in 2020 for the new-look Super Rugby competition that launched in 2022, but were unsuccessful. This kicked off a legal battle after Ataiga claimed New Zealand Rugby breached its own rules by choosing the Moana Pasifika bid that had the backing of Sir Michael Jones and Sir Brian Williams, even though the group had not taken part in the formal tender process. Subsequently, Kanaloa Rugby was also looking into establishing Hawaii's first professional rugby union team to join America's Major League Rugby competition, but nothing came of it when after Hawaiian State Senator Glenn Wakai questioned its plans. Ataiga said recent talks with New Zealand Rugby has been positive and that they have engaged with Chris Lendrum, who will conclude his role at NZR by the end of May. We had some pretty frank discussions around what might have happened in the past that they didn't agree with. But equally, I was able to share with New Zealand Rugby the frustrations that we had at the time around transparency and honesty, and building trust with the Pasifika communities, she said. She said the demise of Moana Pasifika should prompt honest conversations, particularly how it was set up and the development of the franchise's business model that came from Deloitte in partnership with New Zealand Rugby Players Association and New Zealand Rugby.